My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Today, being the 8th of June, 2024. And people, you know, many times that we come here is to bring messages that you're not accustomed hearing, to bring commentary that you are not accustomed seeing on mainstream media, and to bring truths to you in which the barrage of information that is being flooded our airways and mainstream media is blocking out. By mere essence, there are a lot of things happening so quickly that that you are unable to pay attention on certain things. Because at the end of the day, we must separate two things from one another. What is immediate and what is important. And plenty of the important things that it have outside here, there are a lot of distractions and red herrings that is being propagated outside there as to block you from seeing what it is going on the ground level and at the top. There is so much fog in between that you become blinded to certain things. We would have seen an individual, Chris, and if none of you know about the story or you have to be hiding on it, rock the individual Christmas list. He was placed front page on an article here. In which we must pay attention to, and it could happen to any of you, you know. And this was his story. He was on front page.
Good morning to everyone around the world. My name's Chris. I'm currently on some very serious criminal charges of sedition here in Trinidad. Now, while I was just in jail for the last 6.5 days, this article was published in the newspaper, Saturday Express. Cops take Chris on tour. Canadian YouTuber taken for a drive in Laventil, East Port of Spain to identify gangs. That's a photo of me in jail. 100% unfactual. No, I did not go on tour. No, I do not work with the police. No, I've never worked with the police at all. 100% unfactual. But here's where we have a problem. Mainstream media should be trustworthy and should have credible resources. They don't. They didn't. Now, if you look at the following newspaper, on the very back page, a little paragraph said a mistake was made. And that's it, a slap on the wrist. Where are the sedition charges for this author or this publication? How come I'm going through these charges and they're not? This is a clear, intentional death threat towards me. Never did I publish anything that would incite riots in this country, city, etc. So I'm asking the public, why me and why not them? This is clear. How come they got the opportunity to just simply say sorry, they made a mistake? I never got that opportunity. I'm locked up in a country that's not my own. Simple question. Where are their sedition charges, Trinidad?
Where are their sedition charges, Trinidad and Tobago? And when people outside there would have said that the police set them up, the case was unfairly heard. They was not given an opportunity to be heard in the court. And we seeing clear evidence of this fact. Now Chris say he was never there. And we are seeing over the past few years the direct interference with certain high-profile cases that have been occurred, and you know, we just sweep it underneath the rug. But when it happened to us, then we does know the bull in the ring. All the time we doesn't pay mind to the bull that going on in the ring. The one that is charging and is trying to suppress the freedom of speech of certain people within Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the world. Because there are a lot of people that is talking about the suppression of speech in countries that are purported to be a democracy. And I here could stand firm on my 2 foot, and I could tell you without fear of contradiction that many of the times that I would have appeared before a magistrate in the Point Fortin court, I was not given my rights to be heard. And the thing about it is this: we would have told you this is what is the problem here in Trinidad and Tobago. And many of you does only feel the brunt of it when you end up in a particular position. So without further ado, we are going right into a video here again from Gary Griffith, in which he would have reached out to the Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago as to help with the crime situation. As I saying, you have to be underneath a rock not to see this. This would have been plastered all through social media. And we are seeing from the direct refusal of the Prime Minister not wanting somebody like Gary Griffith, who have a proven track record to participate in crime fighting voluntarily. That showed the nature of Keith Rowley. Now, without further ado, we are going right into that video, and you'll go see that.
Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, I address you today with a heavy heart to share a tragic story that underscores the grave reality we all face on a daily basis. A 21-year-old man who attended school with my son witnessed a man being shot. Driven by compassion and humanity, he and his brother, a soldier, rushed the injured man to the hospital. The very individuals who committed the initial shooting followed them and opened fire, resulting in the senseless killing of this young man, along with a few others. This brave young man, who had his entire life ahead of him, is now gone. His father, a soldier who served alongside me for 15 odd years, is left to mourn his irreplaceable loss. To my friend, my deepest condolences. The National Security Minister, after this incident at the hospital, then calls a media conference to spend 1 hour, 13 minutes and 57 seconds not to give one policy, not one anti-crime plan, not one comment as to how he intends to prevent this from happening in the future. But instead, yet again, use it to talk about his Stanley John report that was littered with lies, because 4 years later, not one person has been charged for anything relating to firearm from that fake report. Yet he continued, Fitzgerald Hines, in that 1 hour, 13 minutes and 57 seconds to talk about, yet again, legal firearms and firearm dealers who sell legal firearms to law-abiding citizens. And why does this happen? Because this security minister sadly has no knowledge, expertise, and basically not a clue of what to do to solve the problem. So what he does is to use his time to attack anyone who is not his political ally. This cannot assist in securing you, the citizens. Meanwhile, citizens are being killed daily, and there is no policy, no plan, no action being taken to reduce crime or to deal with illegal firearms that account for almost 100% of crimes committed with the use of a firearm. But to those who say that this cannot be fixed, I wish to remind you again that we indeed turned this around on 2 occasions. In 2013 to 2015, when I was Minister of National Security, we saw the highest reduction in serious crime in 31 years. And just 3 years ago, we experienced the highest reduction in violent crime in 17 years. With the
Now, with a track record like that, why the Prime Minister say no? Do you not care about the carnage that is taking place on the street? Or are you so far up that it don't affect you? So it's nothing. 1, 2, 3, 600 people dying in 1 year, that small thing. 4 dead in 1 day, that small thing. Is that your sight? Is that appearing into your psyche? Are you seeing what is taking place on the streets of Trinidad and Tobago? The people that is at the absolute low are in a sea or a river, matter of fact, not a sea, a river of blood in Trinidad and Tobago. They're touching every strata of society. And where are you? Are you not seeing these things? Yeah.
This number of murders in any one given year in over 15 years. And may I add, that was outside the SOE or curfew, that being May 2020 to May 2021, where we had less than 350 murders. A year later, it went up to over 600. Additionally, previously, just a few years ago, public trust and confidence in the TTPS was 59%, the highest ever experienced. Now it is 8%. It is in this regard that I am again offering my services to the country. To Keith Rowley, this is bigger than us. This is bigger than Gary versus Keith. This is bigger than politics. Our job as servants to this country, as patriots, is to fix this country. I can help bring back the order we had in 2021. And just 3 years after there was order and control, it has now totally collapsed, to the point that nowhere in our country is considered safe from brazen criminals. Unfortunately, those in charge now lack the strategic, tactical, and operational expertise to win back this country. And while legislation has its value in effective crime-fighting policy, this situation we find ourselves in cannot be solved by legislation alone, no matter how many lawyers there are as members of parliament or in cabinet. It takes a level of operational response and initiatives that most politicians cannot provide or understand, because they are not trained in law enforcement tactics and strategy. So they lack the basic knowledge of, far less the capacity to even execute. This is also why putting focus on political crime talks amongst parliamentarians would have absolutely no major positive impact, as it will merely be one group of civilians talking to another group of civilians who are politicians with no training or expertise to solve the problem. Which is why when these politicians meet, they solely come up with legislative amendments or off-the-cuff ideas to reduce crime, which any citizen can do. That is not how it is you reduce crime in a country.
Now, that piece of talk, they would have gone over the head of certain people. And when I break down the methodology or the psyche of Gary Griffith within this post here, we would have seen, he would have said all these crime talk. When we put it down on a book, it's good to talk about it as to bring public awareness. But the actual forcing, the enforcing, and the methodology as to bring about these things and implement it in our society, it is very difficult. So it's not just seeing, going up on YouTube, 4 ways to stop crime and blah, blah, blah. Or use AI technology, let me go in and let me do this and do that. Crime don't solve so. It requires a strategic approach from the end of law enforcement. So you need a man with a mindset who understands what is taking place and the strategies involved and the mechanism that it takes to solve it. And then the government have to do their part too, has to fix these social nets, these social safety nets, and to put things in place that people could have a choice to help themselves. So they wouldn't have to be resorting to a life of crime and criminality, and invest heavily in the spiritual part. So when they provide all these entities to them and these structures, they still have a choice. Yes, the critic is going to say that. But there and then, there is where it need religion. So all these things must work together to solve crime. At the end of the day, we have to put God first to it. But at the end, where we seeing these kind of things, these heinous crime, it need a particular approach that we are seeing, that Fitzgerald Hines and the rest of them with these crime talk thing, and it didn't come into no way. It's just blabber. One citizen, one civilian talking to our next. A batch. You know what I mean. Civilian. Yeah, that is a civilian. Know what I mean? Well, you know the code. Now we're going right back into the talk that you could see for yourself and hear. And this is what we need in Trinidad. We had to put aside who like who. Crime is not about that. We're waiting on for them to come at your house.
So to Keith Rowley, there will be doubters, there will be haters, there will be those in an unholy alliance with criminals, and there will be those whispering lies and misinformation into your ears as they have done before because of that agenda. I ask you to dismiss them all and think for yourself. If I indeed was the biggest mistake, then how come after almost 4 years of searching, fishing expeditions and witch hunting, not one thing has been found, not one civilian or police officer arrested for what those who lied to you claimed? The truth is, we do not have to be friends, Keith, because this is about saving lives, protecting scared and traumatized citizens throughout the country. This is not a time about ego. But most of all, it is about sending a strong signal to the law-abiding citizens and the criminal elements that we intend to take back our country as we have a nation to defend. This is not about Keith versus Gary. This is about good versus evil. We do not have to be friends, Keith, but we can both be patriots. I am speaking as one political leader to another, as a former commissioner of police and a former minister of national security. I am willing yet again to let you know that I am willing to help because our country desperately needs it. We cannot wait until after another general election. We need to act now. I am willing to help you and show you the strategies and systems that made our country feel safer on 2 occasions within the last decade. And I am not even asking about this thing about Hines to be removed. Just give me and my team, who did it before on 2 occasions, the chance to give the proper advice to those in authority so we can have a fighting chance to peg back the criminal elements that invade our society. This is not about political rivalry, Keith. It is about saving lives and restoring safety and security to the good and decent law-abiding citizens of this great country. Once again, Keith, The ball is in your court. Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, I address you today with a
Now, to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, what do you think concerning this? Somebody that is willing to give their service as to help the arms of national security, in which my good friend have the experience and the expertise in doing so. So crime not affecting you guys. There was once a big set of crime talk that was taking place throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad, a matter of fact. Because we here are feeling it here on the ground. Why not give Gary Griffith a chance? Are you waiting for Trinidad and Tobago to fall in a place of no return for you to even consider that you are wrong? That Fitzgerald Hines are failing? For you, Rowley, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who is the head of the Security Council in Trinidad and Tobago. Are you not seeing that your citizen failing? Crime is overrunning our country. Are you not seeing that? Are you not feeling the effects? More security detail. Are you not feeling the effects? Are you not understanding what is taking place? And the thing about it is this. I too would have, we have a relationship with Philip Alexander. And this was one of his messages. In closing, we will play this message here in closing. To all them that feel that I could do this thing on their own, to play this thing on their own, it take everybody. And we are seeing through the interview, the statement in which Gary Griffith would have made and the Prime Minister would have refused. We are seeing that they are not interested in the upliftment and the benefit of you, the people of this country and this great state of Trinidad and Tobago. They are not interested in its success. They are not interested in the safety of you, the citizen, as to accept help from somebody who is volunteering their service, and they could put aside the race and the fighting. You are seeing. That is what you're seeing in our Prime Minister. Somebody that's not big enough. Yeah, Philip.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. There's something that I need to say, and it's not going to take long, and it is this. Every single person that has a voice, that has a name, that has a brand, that has a political ambition, that is on the other side of the PNM, if they don't all pull together, the PNM will win. The UNC supporters need to know that last election, when the entire party was intact, they still couldn't beat the PNM on their own. UNC has never beaten the PNM on their own. And you could tell me about voter padding, and you could tell me about Elections and Boundaries Commission. You could tell me all of that. What I know for certain is that when everybody stands together, PNM loses. And this country needs the PNM to lose. This country needs the PNM to lose bad. This country needs the PNM to be destroyed politically. It must never come back. It mustn't be like 1986 and 2010. It must never, ever come back. The PNM is the weaponized front of the contract mafia. You don't have to be bright. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know it. The UNC is corrupt. They do a lot of corrupt crap, and they have a lot of eager beavers inside our party. But I feel we could deal with that. I think that we need to get all the names, all the brands around the table. We have to. And anybody that you see that not interested in having that conversation, and it could be Kamala herself, anybody you see that not willing to sit on that table, you as a Trinidadian voter, you have to know that that person does not care about the country. If you care about Trinidad and Tobago, you would want this government gone. This government has destroyed Trinidad and Tobago. We have a lot of work to do to fix it. But we could fix it. And I'm committed to fixing it. And I'm committed to working together with everybody. I mean, if you want people to vote for you and trust you, then you need to be able to put your ego aside. And I'm willing to put mine aside. I'll work with everybody. As long as we sit down and we sign a proper agreement and we list the things that we're going to do and we publish that list. And we tell Trinidadians, we'll fix jobs, we'll fix water, we'll fix national security, secure the borders, we'll fix the police service, we'll fix the banking, put proper bank financial service regulations in place so the banks stop raping the people. We'll open up the country, end all the monopolies so that quality goes up and prices come down, and we will make sure that farmers get all the land they need to farm so that we can become food self-sufficient, those kind of things. Make lists like that. That our education system will become prestige education for all. Make a list like that. So we make a list of the top 20 things and we publish it for Trinidad and Tobago. And we say, these are the things that we are going to work on. Nothing else, nothing new, no surprises until this list is accomplished. That everybody who talks a good talk, come and sit on a table and put your signature to that. And let's agree that this is how we are going to do an accommodation, coalition, whatever you want to call it. But get in there and fix it. I don't understand how some people in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s thinking that they're going to live forever. You in the waving gallery. Use your last days, your last weeks, your last months to make Trinidad better for those coming. Let them say, we fixed it. Let them say there was a time when the patriots got together and fixed it. Share this video. Share this video with everyone. Because I'm telling you, I talk to everybody. And I tell everybody, the only solution right now is unity. The issues, how to fix the issues, how to fix water. We've been through all of this. And you know that it can fix. It's the politics that destroys this country. We need the PNM gone. And the only way the PNM going is if everybody else unite and beat them. So that's the purpose of this video tonight. Use your voice. Tell everybody. Save the smalls. Save all the small talk. We have one goal as a nation. And that is get rid of the contract mafia that is destroying Trinidad and Tobago, that use their puppet party, the PNM, to do it. Let's fix Trinidad and Tobago once and for all. And if that's what you want, the people that you support, if they don't want that, take back your support. Put country first. We could do this. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.
As far as I could see, that is the right there and there. the only solution as to get us out of the problem that we are in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. The politicians that are there right now, they don't care about us. These politicians that you are seeing there are first, second, and third generation politicians. Them that are hungry for change are politicians that are that wasn't there. Some people in this thing here for the money because they want to work, and some people in this because they want a legacy. And you just know the two types, you know. Because when it come down to the last draw, when it's coming down to that, you ever hear the story about Solomon and the child, the two mothers, one child born dead and the next one, they up and thief the next one child? And Solomon say, boy, you're fighting too much, let me cut this thing in half. And the real mother say, oh God, cry out. And say, give the woman the child. You see the child. And Solomon turned around and he said, this is your child. What is at stake here in Trinidad and Tobago is the people and the debt of the country. There was a book that Eric Williams would have written. There's some people say, all kind of story behind the book, but that way it say he written it. When sugar was king. And there was a time in Trinidad and Tobago, we didn't have all this oil. And we were surviving. We reached our industry here now. And we destroying what we have. So at this point in time, we must move on. We must pick a different grade of politician. We must now select those that are hungry. We must select those that are thirsty to restore the country as to from where we fell. And to understand, we know this oil thing will die out soon. You know? Are we so stupid as to believe it would have lasted forever? We know it would have come to an end. The politicians know that. It's time for us to move on. The old system is not working again. So the appeal to tradition, argumentum ad antiquitatem. This is how it was and this is how it should be. Shouldn't be the argument that we are having now. And neither jump into everything that is new, argumentum ad novitam. Appeal to the newness. The appeal to newness. But we must strategically plan our future from here go on. As to where we need to be and where we should be. And aim. Have a vision. Just like Mr. Patrick Manning, God rest his soul, he had a 2020 vision for Trinidad and Tobago. And we are seeing two horses in the race that is still appealing to tradition that is destroying our country. And we see people try to fight it from outside, it making sense. The fight must be inside to improve the structures from within. Nothing from outside can help, and a doctor know that. I mean, what is at the outside may be able to aid. But the cure must come from within. The medication must enter the bloodstream. So when I see the United Patriots talking out on certain things, come on, it's only logical. And I say I was going to end after the Philip Edward Alexander video. But somehow I believe in a feeling that we have to. We have to go into this video as to what is taking place on the ground with the United Patriots. Have to.
But I was willing.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the constituency of Faizabad, let's welcome Mr. Jason Ali.
We need change right now, Trinidad's dying. We hear the people shout, crying out stronger UNC.
Good night, my UNC brothers and sisters. Tonight I stand before you proudly. I stand before you proudly tonight as no dissident. I stand before you tonight as a member of the United National Congress. I stand before you tonight to tell you about our party, the United National Congress. We have a car known as the United National Congress that is going to Port of Spain. In 2015, that car shut down and we did not reach. In 2020, that car shut down again. We did not reach. We did not fix that car. Do you think in 2025, with the same set of mechanic we have, will we reach to Port of Spain? My brothers and sisters, I tell you, they could call me anything, but they can't call me a dissident. I will not lie down and die and watch my party fall. Gone were the days when we used to operate, you know, like you ever heard the term kunumunu? Gone are the days of the kunumunu, where we used to just follow, and whatever they say, we do. Those days are over. When we go to vote, some say, don't watch name. Just put your X by a symbol. How can we do that? How can we do that? Look at my team that stands with me on the 15th of June and place your X solidly next to the praying hands. An election is easy to win. But if we do not do the correct groundwork, If we do not do the correct research, we will never win. We will never win. And I will tell you about my track record in research and fighting elections. Currently, I am the local government councillor for Saparia West Faizabad, and I am the chairman of the United National Congress Faizabad Constituency Executive. My electoral district was PNM seat, PNM stronghold. In 2019, I was given the nod as a candidate to fight that electoral district. And in 2019, we won the seat. You know how we won the seat? From 2016, when the UNC lost, we studied the dynamics of that seat for 3 years. And we put in the mechanism in place to win it in 2019. We won Saparia West by 115 votes. Come 2023, local government election last year, we did our homework, and I can tell you, last year we won that seat by 811. So when you go out there to vote, watch for the names of the people you are voting for. Watch for that praying hand symbol and put your X by your praying hands. My brothers and sisters, people calling us all kind of names. We won't call nobody name, right? Our own UNC brothers and sisters, they are treating us like outcasts, but we are no outcasts. If we were outcasts, we would have on a different color, but we are all yellow and we are UNC and strong.
Just a different perspective.
Our slate, led by the Honorable Mr. Rushton Parry, will lead us to victory, will carry us home on the 15th of June. But what this slate has to offer, that is the question. What this slate has to offer. If you look at the caliber of candidates we have on our side, compared to the fallen star on the other side, then you will see who we are. Some of them, you know, you just watch up and you just wish when the star fallen. Well, they are wishing right now they didn't have to face us, because we are strong in every constituency. And tonight I want to say special thanks from the team from Saparia that is here. We will rock the boat in every constituency in Trinidad and Tobago. My brothers and sisters, we on this side, we are humble, right? Because, you know, we hear on the news and we listen on the radio and we watch in the papers, we read the papers, and we see these fellas, the big names, Kyle Taklal Singh and Larry Lalad. And, you know, for the little time I have known them, those fellas simple and they humble. Last night all of us sat in, you know, those wood seat and them in school, those 3-seaters, all of us sit there. Humble people, but it have some on the other side, them walking in the sky. But when the star fall, they will fall back and hit the reality on the ground. What will we offer when we win on the 15th? Here is what we will offer. When the UNC calls a meeting for 3 o'clock, we will start 3 o'clock and not 5 o'clock. When our candidates go for screening for general and local government election, and they tell me, your appointment is 4 o'clock in the evening, we wouldn't screen them 4 o'clock the next morning. When we have a meeting, we will not full all here in Maxi and bring all here and just hand all here a bottle of water. Whatever refreshment we provide for you all, we will eat it too. If we provide doubles for all here, we will eat it also. We won't shuttle out everybody and go in some room or go in some different place and sit down and wine and dine and watch you eat doubles and drink water. We will stand up shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, and we will stay with you and we will fight with you. That is the kind of representation you will have with this NATEX that we will win on the 15th. Right now, they say the party split, with one side with MP Pare and one side with the political leader. But we are a strong family, and we will stand again united after June the 15th with Rushton Pare as deputy political leader, Ms. Anita Haynes as our next deputy political leader. We will stand together, because we need to get our party working again. We need to get all the organs of our party working today again. I ask you, when was the last time we had a national youth arm meeting? When was the last time the women arm meet? I am the chairman of Faizabad, and for 2 years now, all the chairman of the South regional constituencies, we are waiting for a meeting more than 2 years and we can't get it. We cannot get it because our arms, our organs of the party, it is non-functional. And ashamed to say it dead. It dead. We will get it working again. How did you think Saparia West was won? We have party groups there and they are functioning. We have to get the science right. And we have the scientists to create the solution to fix the UNC. The other side had, how much, 10 years? 10 years they have. And up to now, they cannot come up with the correct solution. But we have the solution. You know why? We have the brain on this side to fix it. So my brothers and sisters, as I close, I want you to remember one thing. One thing I want you to remember. A family that prays together will always. So when we go on election day, June the 15th, remember, a stronger UNC is a stronger, and place your X solidly next to the praying hands. Thank you and good night.
Done for you and me, not what they done for TNT. We have a voice, make it with UNC. We have to take the show.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing?
This is
Stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. That is our creed.
we had to bring to the forefront.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, coming up the road today, I was reflecting on our journey thus far. And I was
Despite the amount of time that, you know, we are going up to, this is something that must be played within the public domain.
And I thought to myself, everything in its own time. Everything in its own time. You see, when we started this movement, there was some that was saying, you all have an uphill task. Uphill task. And then Anita started talking to them, Rushton started speaking to them, Victor started speaking to them, and everybody started talking. And then you know what they told us? They said that the tide is turning. Tide is turning. And as I speak to you tonight, I want to say that the tide has turned. The tide has turned, ladies and gentlemen. And on June 15, we will be victorious. And you may ask why. And it's not that difficult to figure out, you know. Because the UNC membership, y'all are listening. Y'all aren't stupid. Y'all are listening to both sides of the slate. So when you hear one side of the state say, well, listen, you haven't won in 2015, you haven't won in 2020, if you don't make any changes, you're not going to win in 2025. And what's their response? Always PNM. When we say, listen, there are some people on NATEX, there's a role for everybody, but there are some people in NATEX, the population just does not trust them to govern their affairs. They say always ni makaram. When we say on this side, we want to build a party school, we want to build a party headquarters, start a party school, teach activists how to speak to the public, how to articulate policy, they say always dissident. Well, I want to tell them tonight, call us what you want, but on June 15th, you will call us the National Executive. That is what you will call us. Call us what you want, because on June 15th, it will be a reckoning for this party, and it will be the start of something new. Now, as I said, the population and the membership are listening very carefully. And on the way up, I just happened to be scrolling through this thing called TikTok. I was reminded today it's not TikTok, it's TikTok, right? I was scrolling through this thing called TikTok, and I saw a fella talking on a program, and he said, Mr. Princess Tongue, he said, well, you have to vote for them and not us, because he's standing in the gap against the PNM. He's standing in the gap, and he's stopping everything. But ladies and gentlemen, crime is going up. Yes. Your water rate and electricity rate going up. Your roads are going down. He probably standing in a pothole because it's not a gap. Yes. And that is what they don't understand, that you have to get into government to fix things. You have to get into government. You have to formulate your policy. What does standing in the gap mean? What? Organizing a protest on a Monday because the road ain't good? We don't want to be a party of protest. We don't want to be a party planning protest. We want to be a party planning policy. We don't want to grumble. We want to govern. That is what we want to do. So when you hear them talking about policy, again, another TikTok video I see them come out with, right? One man say, well, of course, this is what we do. And of course, that was what we do, right? Of course, I am this, and of course. Well, of course, I stand for firearm policy. But you know, they didn't tell us what they're going to do to reduce the weight for firearms. Tell us what your policy is. Are you going to move the discretion away from the Commissioner of Police? Are you going to set a limitation in the legislation to ensure that firearm licenses are dealt with on a certain period of time? Are you going to create a firearm authority to process applications faster and take it out of the hands of the police? What is your policy? The population does not want a TikTok video where you come and say, I support firearm for the population, and you have no idea how to deliver it. That is not what the population wants. When you say, I support stand your ground law, what does that mean? Does that mean that you are going to adjust the self-defense laws in this country? Does it mean that you are going to move the common law defense of self-defense into statute and create a specific defense for homeowners, so that if anybody enters your house without your permission, you can kill them or you can defend your home without worry of prosecution? Is that what you're talking about? Because that is how policy is made. You cannot just simply stand up and say, I for stand your ground. Another one say he support lower electricity rates. Well, what are you going to do to maximize efficiency to ensure that electricity rates are going down? Are you going to go alternative energy? Are you going to try solar? What are you doing? So when we talk policy and strategy, we don't mean TikTok video, right? We mean actual policy. Consult with your members, because let me tell you something. I have been walking and talking to people throughout this country, especially in Couva North, and they are very, very bright people. Everybody has an idea how to fix this country. Everybody has a thought. Everybody has a contribution to make. But that is why we must fix the arms of our party to ensure that the ideas from our membership filter from the ground all the way up to NATEX. That is how we do it. That is how you do it. So don't take on all of the old talk. I want, and I might borrow, you forgive me for borrowing the expression, I want the membership to forget all of the old talk that you're going to see on Facebook and TikTok and all kind of thing, right? Fake profile don't have vote in membership election, right? Fake profile don't vote, right? So don't worry about that. Stay focused on the eye of the bird, because the eye of the bird is June 15th to put in a competent NATEX in order to ensure that our party wins government in 2025. That is what we must do. And don't give us no soundbite. If you want to come and talk policy and debate policy, well, say what your policy is, and we got debate you on policy. Any one of them could debate education with Anita? Any one of them could debate international relations with Roddy? Law with Dinesh? No. But you're standing in a pothole, in a gap. What does that mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, June 15th, pray in hands. Pray in hands, ladies and gentlemen, because a stronger UNC is a stronger TNT. Thank you, ladies.
A stronger UNC, it's a stronger TNT, a stronger UNC.
Now you see why it is important that we come together and form a body, not a dictatorial one, but one in which people are free to share their ideas, their views, and their commentaries on certain subjects. People are fed up. People are fed up. And people just come in and talk, and they listen. People want to be a part of the change and the movement that is taking place. In Trinidad, people are getting more smart. Gone was the days at the TTT, the TV6 and all them kind of thing. And radio. Just the other day I see a man with a highlight 730. Not that I'm playing it in no thing. That was the thing then. But people want to be a part of the change. And it's about time that politics change from what it is. That we open the corridors and we rise together as a people. That is what it takes in Trinidad and Tobago to bring us from one stage to the next. If we would have read or peer into the philosophy of Adam Smith, in which he would have talked about the wealth of nations, we would have seen that, all right, the most power that any nation could reach to is empowering their citizen. And the empowerment starts from each and every individual. It's to move away. Friedrich Nietzsche talked about the herd mentality and the individual. And anytime you flock into a herd as the change, the herd mentality is what having us in this position here today. Ultimately, let me go in a little deep to the intellectual ones and them. Ultimately, the herd is being controlled by an individual. So any herd you're seeing outside there, and the herd are groups of people. These groups of people are controlled by one individual. Understand, there is one that stirs the pot. Anytime you want to find out who are behind certain attacks that you just get, strike the shepherd and watch who is coming to the defense. And I would have did that in several organizations as to see the person behind, and sometimes you just marvel. Sometimes the very boss of an organization is behind the stink man, the man who come in and shitting you up on the work. When it reached a point that he can't hide, he come out and defend the person. Why silence the thoughts of certain individuals? Why? Why do that? Why try to stop the freedom of expression of certain people? The only thing you have in this place, in this country, as a human being, is this. Viktor Frankl would have said that the only freedom that we have, the last of all freedoms, is the ability to react. Even when thing is done wrong against us, the ability to think and process. We could break down that. Is this. That is the only thing you have. Your last of all freedoms. And anytime somebody is trying to muzzle where you have here, the expression, you must understand what they are trying to do. They are trying to manipulate you as a people. So if within a party, people have different views about certain things, why suppress it? And every time I would have peered in and I would have heard the discussion from on the both sides of the fence, it's things that I was prevented from in my past. The freedom of expression. My God, do you understand this? It reached a point that it should not have reached so fine that people coming out in a most crucial time. Now is a real crucial time. People coming, you seeing people jumping the fence. Let me tell you what did take place in Nazi Germany. These men and them, Hitler, in them timing, where it had concentration camps. The guard that was guarding, if you didn't want to walk, somebody willing to take the place. Somebody willing to take your place in it. To persecute other people in it. 10 or 5 or 15 of them waiting behind you in the lineup, ready to shoot you, kick you aside. In it. Freedom of expression is an important thing in terms of where democracy is concerned. It keeps a check on the quality and the standards that we want certain leaders and organizations to uphold. The freedom of speech is always the schoolmaster to keep this thing in check. And we are seeing people making all kinds of statements throughout the media, something in which we call suppressed correlative, where one statement grow out of the next and there are nothing distinctively setting them apart from one another. And we are here, this workers' rights team, are watching from behind and are taking all of these things into consideration. The country needs to come out of the abyss where it is. And the only how that could take place is through the UNC party. It are no if, no maybe, or perhaps. And all the small parties that are there, and a policy must be crafted to the effect and not to give them that full power, but to create something that are different, something that we could be a part of structuring too. Because they know, the UNC know that they cannot win alone. And anytime that they're seeing all these separation that is taking place throughout Trinidad and Tobago, the inner annals and all these small parties rising up and trying to do this and trying to do that, the PNM laughing because they have no competition. And it is dangerous to have a party without a competition. They are left to do what they want and what they feel and exercise on humanity what they feel is right. And we all know the ending of that, because anytime a man feel what is right is in his old days, where evil does come from. Where if everybody do what is right in their sight, and they are nothing, no law, they are nothing opposing them or strong enough to oppose them, where you think going to happen? You see a party that is left out of control. And what who fighting? People, everyday people. I say everyday person. In no better position or better job than you. And by the way, right now I ain't working because I can't. Of an accident that I had just some mere months back. But the thing about it is this. I see a better Trinidad and Tobago, just like many other people that are speaking on your behalf. And we must not be afraid of changing. A snake that cannot shed its skin have to die. Change is imminent. The truth of the matter is this: the people have been left behind. And we must unite underneath one umbrella, one flag, as to get ourselves out of this abyss. The 1970 revolution didn't come about just just on the heels of independence. After 20 years of unprecedented reign from the PNM, even members of the PNM would have understood that there must be a strong opposition as to fight for the opposing views of the people. If somebody not for something, there have to be an entity to defend them. There must be an entity to defend them. And hence the opposition. So the opposition being weak, having a weak opposition is a disadvantage to the population. Having an opposition that trying to muzzle people's freedom of speech is a disadvantage. The people will not see the difference in the both, in the two. So they will class everything as the same. Now is the time that the opposition must take certain things into consideration. The people of Trinidad and Tobago needs a strong opposition. The people of Trinidad and Tobago needs salvation. They need to be rescued from this one type of governance that exercises on the people and take away their choice. Because at the end of the day, for your lost election, if the UNC lost election, if they pay it in reverse, UNC win the election through the normal means in which PNM win election, the PNM is just going to come back again, stronger. Because you are not taking the chance as to build the blocks, the pillars of power, which is the people. The people right about now is disenfranchised as to what is taking place within the country. And you are not capitalizing on the opportunity as to bring the people together underneath one umbrella. All these small parties and them underneath one umbrella. And we say one thing. If by some stroke of luck that you win with all these mechanisms, the PNM laughs. So they will always institutionalize the workforce, certain strategic places. That is the reason why you get yourself in this rut. Understand what is being played with here. You was in power before. You would have seen the type of resources that it have. Understand the game that you are playing. And before I go, I must play this video. I want you to understand. This is not an attack in it. This is something that you should understand that is taking place and for you to be aware of.
Listen to Keith Rowley in Parliament just a few moments ago. You'd hear for yourself what we have all been saying. Kamla Persad-Bissessar remains the very thing keeping Keith Rowley in power. Kamla Persad-Bissessar remains the one obstacle in UNC's way. Kamla Persad-Bissessar remains Keith Rowley's most valuable asset. While Kamla Persad-Bissessar remains at the helm of UNC, we cannot remove PNM and the bunch of incompetent misfits running this country. Listen for yourself in Keith Rowley's own words.
The opposition leader fuming about everything, hoping for a knockout punch. Madam Speaker, on the 16th of June, those flames their arms and knock out nobody. And I can say, Madam Speaker, as I support her, leave her right there. Don't move her. Leave her right there.
If a man see a donkey and he get a free ride, what do you expect? What do you expect? Again, my name is Renison Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Today is the 8th of June 2024. And we are out, and people of Trinidad and Tobago, you pay attention. Understand what is at stake. Understand why we need a choice. Not just a one-party system. And anytime we encourage or we vote back in PNM, that is what we are encouraging, and our demise shall soon come. Thanks for being a part of this broadcast. You could have been doing something else, but you have chosen to be on this journey with us, and we thank you. God bless.